This is going to be one of those audio only videos where you can just get on with your washing up or your laundry or your makeup or whatever you're doing, and you don't have to watch the video, because I can guarantee now you're not going to miss out on anything visually. It's just going to be a Q&A where I answer some of your questions. I'm not looking particularly great. I'm going to do it in parts because I've only literally got about half an hour now to film a bit. And then I've got calls and meetings, and then I'll just keep coming back to this when I get time throughout the week. So I'm literally just having my coffee, and I've got a massive pile of washing behind me. Like, can you see that? I just said you don't need to look. That's all you need to look at. There's nothing else to look at. Massive pile of washing behind me that I need to get to. But I thought I'd just crack on and answer some of the questions that you guys left me. Did I ask for them? Yeah, I asked for them on a YouTube video, and I got like 230 comments. So thank you so much. There was so many to go through, and I thought there'd be some like clever AI tool that I could use, but I couldn't really work it out. So it took me quite a while to work through all the questions, and there were so many nice comments and questions. So thank you so much. First coffee of the day, very much needed. I'm freezing. Oh, it feels like proper winter today. Okay, let's crack on. Let me get my laptop going. Okay, the first question is, oh my God, I can't see them. 1 minute. Let me make everything a bit bigger. The first question is, what is your proudest achievement? First thing that comes to mind, I think, is you guys, my career, and not so much like things I've done in my career, although there have been some like great moments. I think the bit I'm proudest of is the community that I've built online, which you guys, that is literally you. So I'm proud that I've created this like safe, very engaged, kind space on the internet. The internet can be a crazy, horrible place, and I feel like I've got a lovely little corner that I've carved out over the last 15 years. And I guess also just being part of this industry when it didn't exist, being part of growing and creating an industry that didn't exist when people thought we were weird and crazy. I am very proud. That was one of my proudest achievements. My kids are also one of my like proudest achievements. Obviously, I'm so proud of who they are. They're such kind, great little kids, and I can't wait to see like who they grow into and what they're like when they are teenagers, when they're in their 20s and 30s, and hopefully I get to enjoy and see all of that. Also, not so much my proudest achievement, but I do really enjoy being able to say I got a first at uni, and not because I think it like matters, but because I failed everything apart from my driving test. I was the kid who failed everything at school. I got D's, I got E's, I got a U in one of my AS levels. That means unclassified. I think that means I just barely wrote my name right on the exam. So the fact that I failed everything, I didn't even get enough UCAS points to get into uni. I got in based on my personal statement. The fact that I then went to uni and got a first, I just kind of love that. I just love that. It just shows what a difference it makes when you're doing a subject you love, and when the teaching is different. Like as soon as you go to uni, call everyone by their first name, and it's just a totally different learning environment. I just still to this day can't really believe that. I put myself down a lot, and I say like, getting a first for the course I did at the uni I did is not the same as getting a first at like an amazing uni doing a really difficult subject. But when I'm not putting myself down, I am very proud of that. It sounds great. I'm getting confused whether to drink my microphone or talk into my coffee. What are your hopes and dreams for the next 12 months? Is it controversial to say that I don't tend to have hopes and dreams? And I feel weird about that. That's come up before where I'm like, is it okay that I don't have hopes and dreams? Does that mean that I am just very content and happy in life and very lucky? I think part of it is that, because when I make a vision board, when I make a dream board, I would say 80% of what's on there is what I've got right now. So part of it is that I feel very content, but I think also part of it is that my slightly fear of failure. I tend to not hope and wish and dream too big, because then there's less of a chance of disappointment. Oh, that sounds deep, doesn't it? I feel in my heart that career-wise, bigger things will come in my 40s and in my 50s. And right now, I really want to just enjoy having a young family. So I don't have any like huge hopes and dreams work-wise. I really want to do some Foggy Morning events, which are already like in planning. That would be so great. And I have got this kind of like project thing that will be launching at some point next year. It's been massively pushed back, so I don't really want to talk about it too much because I don't know when it's going to happen. But that would be really cool and something I haven't done before. But other than that, I just want to really enjoy like being a mum to young kids and making like life as fun for them as possible. I would love to take the kids to Disney next year. We're thinking of doing it as a surprise for Gray's birthday. And that's kind of it. Sometimes I feel bad for not having like huge, big goals and hopes and dreams, but I don't know. Can anyone else relate? What are your favourite and least favourite personality traits in people? Oof. I think what I've realised in my grand old age of almost 38 is that good people aren't always the ones who are nice and friendly and sweet. And bad people aren't always the ones who are harder on the surface and more blunt. Does that make sense? Take my family, for example. I think we are all good people in our heart. We are good people. But on the surface, like, I'm pretty blunt. When people first meet me, they always think that I don't like them. And I think my parents and a lot of people in my family are similar. And there are some people I know who are super sweet and super kind. And you would think they are the sweetest person ever. But actually, inside, they are not good people. And that's what I've come to realize. And it's kind of complicated, but I would 100% rather someone who doesn't always seem like the kindest, nicest person at first, but deep down they are good people than the other way around. So with that, I think one of my traits I really dislike in a person is fakeness. I just think there's just no point to it. Like, there's no point faking or pretending to be nice if you're not really. I think like strong family values is a great personality trait. Is that a personality trait? Loyalty, openness, like willing to be vulnerable, not being afraid to be vulnerable and open. I just have no time for like top level small talk with like a good friend. Like, open up, show some vulnerability, share, like the ability to share. I think fakeness and selfishness. And I think selfishness is has become a little bit complicated because, like, I go on TikTok, for example, and there's a lot of videos of people saying like, you do you, or like, you do what's good for you. Like, if there's someone who's not serving you, move away, drop them out of your life. And there's a lot of content like that I get served a lot. And I think that it's great that it gives people the confidence to do what is right for them. And I think that is really important. But I think with that, we're kind of losing a little bit the ability to consider other people's feelings as well. I think you can do both. And I think that being too selfish and thinking too much about yourself all the time is not always best. Yeah, I think that makes sense. How has your relationship with Rich changed since having kids?
Hi.
Are you on a call?
No.
Do you want to come answer this question with me?
Okay.
How has your relationship with Rich changed since having kids?
Deep.
No, we'll be quick.
I actually touched on this the other day, didn't I?
Where? Why? How has your relationship with Rich changed since having kids? I don't think it has that much, actually.
I feel like we got closer, but anyway, that's up to you.
Sorry, we were talking. I think you meant
Yeah.
like on a video. Oh yeah, Rich did
No.
say this the other day.
Yeah, I feel like we got closer.
Because we've had to communicate better, so we actually talk more now than we did before, like about feelings.
Yeah, that is a good response.
Yeah, we communicate better, which has made us closer.
Yeah, and also to be more patient as well. Especially me. I lose my rag sometimes with Lily. Clothes on the floor, things like that. And actually, they're not that important. And so I've become more patient, which actually makes me a nice environment in the house.
Because your priorities change because you realise what's important and what's not. Not only, but like when the kids come into the mix.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this must be some negatives. It's a bit more like logistical.
Yeah, we don't get as much time together.
We don't get to do the things we enjoy as much because the things we enjoy are like going out to a food market, going out for dinner, and they're things that are like trickier to do.
But on the flip side, we do try and do the odd days where we can, once a month or every other month, try and do a day together or something. And then that feels more special.
We definitely don't do that once a month.
No, we don't. I don't know why.
Or every other, maybe on our anniversary once a year.
we need to do it more.
We would like to do that.
We need to do it more.
I think as the kids get older, that will become easier.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You're free. You're free to go. What age of your children has been your favourite and least favourite so far? I think we're in the favourite. I mean, there's no denying when they're like 1.5, they're so cute. Like I do miss that like cute, cuddly. They look cute and they're cute to cuddle. But I think in general, like this age now, so Rudy's 3, almost 4, which is mad, and Gray's 6, almost 7. I just feel like they're still young enough that they're cute, but it feels like we just have too many humans hanging out with us, and we can like do fun things with them, and it just feels so much more relaxed. Like if, you know, they stayed at my mum's on the weekend and it was like, it just wasn't a huge deal. I don't have to worry. Like if there's a babysitter, I know that if they were to wake up, they can say how they feel, they can communicate, and they're just fun to hang out with. I'm really, really loving this age. I think we're in the best bit, I think. Least favourite. I enjoyed the newborn stage more with Rudy because I knew it was going to pass sooner, but I don't love the newborn stage. Like I love that they're quite easy because they don't do much, but it's just like hard and not as enjoyable. So the newborn stage is not my fave. And then for Rudy, I don't know if it's because he's a boy or because he's a second kid or whatever. I'm sure it's different for everyone. But between like 1 and 2 was quite tricky because he was at that age where he would just like run and have no awareness of danger and no fear. And I just remember being quite scared going out just with Rudy, who would have been like 1, and Gray would have been 3.5. And it was just like felt really full on. Whereas like now, and as soon as he hit like 2, he could like walk along a pavement. Like as soon as he could just walk holding my hands or just not running away, it was like, oh my God, this is life changing. So I found for him between 1 and 2 really hard. Whereas with Gray, it was lockdown. So it was totally different. We just had 1 child. So that was really different. I think with Gray, the older she gets, the more like emotionally harder it will be. How do you balance responsibilities as a family of 4? I do get this question a lot. And I don't know why, like I think as women, we are afraid to talk about how helpful our partners are, if they are helpful. It's almost like I've noticed I get made to feel a little bit guilty by quite a lot of people. You're so lucky, Rich. You're so lucky that he does this, and you have no idea how hard. Da, 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 da. And don't get me wrong, I feel, I don't know if lucky is the word. I feel grateful that I have a partner who is so hands-on, but I think that's how it should be if it can be. And I don't think I should feel guilty about it or feel incredibly lucky. I'm just grateful. Rich is super hands-on. We totally share all responsibilities and mental load and stuff. I guess we do really share out the responsibilities, but it's not like official. The only thing that we both don't do at any point is take the bins out, because honestly, I can't stand taking the bins out. That is absolutely Rich's job. But everything else, we do switch and change. Rich is better at kind of practical stuff. And within that is things like washing. Like Rich is more than happy and very good at doing the washing. And it doesn't overwhelm him to have like a lot of washing. So we kind of share out the tasks based on what we are good at and what we can handle. And then obviously if one person gets overwhelmed with it, we'll be like, I can't do this washing, it's too much for me, can you like help me this week? And we just communicate. So Rich is quite good at things like washing, like getting the food shop order in time, and like quite a lot of those like household weekly tasks that he knows, like, he'll put the food shop order in, but I'll be the one to think of what food we're going to make and tell him what to add to the food shop. But he's just like better at the app and he's better at the washing. To be honest, most of the stuff is his or the kids anyway. Whereas I will take more of the kind of more things like always making sure the kids' wardrobes have been organized and have the right season in, and buying all the kids' clothes and doing their bedrooms if they need decorating, and buying presents if there's kids' parties coming up, and like planning kids' parties and doing the invite. But then even within that, Rich will help me. If I'm planning Rudy's birthday party, I'm not like in it on my own. I'll be like, right, I know Rudy wants a Batman. I can't work out which one. Can we sit down tonight and talk through the different Batman options? And like, he will. We're just in it together, but the responsibilities do get split up. And to be honest, I've never really, we don't sit and discuss it. It just happens quite naturally. We'll both cook. We'll take turns cooking. Like today I said to him, I'm quite busy at work later, so can you cook the kids dinner? And he will. And I'll do it tomorrow. I'm trying to think what other responsibilities there are. I don't know. I just think it's so great that, you know, when the kids stayed the night at my mum's on the weekend, Rich packed their bags because I was at my sister's with the kids doing something. Once he got back, I thought, oh, I forgot to tell him to pack a cowpole plug. And when he walked in, I said, oh, I forgot to tell you to pack a cowpole plug. And he was like, oh, I packed one in case. Like that, to me, is just life goals. Would you expect your children to move out at a certain age or live with you until marriage? I wouldn't expect anything from them. I'm incredibly lucky that the way I was brought up is I was welcome to live at home until I moved out, until I wanted to or could move out. But then again, I would never have taken the piss. Like, I lived at home till I was 28, but I wasn't just like sitting on the sofa not doing anything. As soon as I came back from uni, I was interning every summer from uni, and as soon as I came back from uni, I went straight into work without any sort of break, and I was like interning until I found a job. But it was amazing to have that security knowing I could live at home. My parents didn't charge me rent, so I was able to save my money, which again, like, we didn't have these discussions, but my parents knew I was saving. So it's not like I was there like spending all the money I was earning with no plan. Like, they knew I was saving to eventually be able to buy my own flat. So I don't know if it would have been different if they hadn't have seen me proactively like trying to save for somewhere. But it's really important for me to have a home, if I can, that is big enough for my kids to stay for as long as they need to, with partners if they want. Rich lived with me and my parents for 5 years. I cannot believe it was 5 years. It wasn't meant to be. After uni, he came to live with my parents while he interned in London because he couldn't afford to rent while he was interning. And then it just got to the point where I was like, well, I want us to save for a flat and I don't want you to waste your money on rent. So, and there was room in my parents' house. It probably would have been different. I'm the youngest. Both my sisters had moved out. They hadn't yet moved. So we lived there for 5 years. Again, Rich is like lovely. You know he is. And he was so helpful and they like loved having him there. So I don't know if it would have been different otherwise. Yeah, I wouldn't expect my children to move out by a certain age, although I would really want, obviously, make sure I could help them and guide them to like finding their career path and finding their way to like financial stability. I wouldn't want them to live with me until marriage. I would want for them to live with their partner before getting married. I think this is like hugely personal to everyone, and obviously different religions and stuff have different ways of doing it, and that's each to their own. I think you learn a lot from living with someone, and I think it's just part of the kind of getting to know someone process. I'm really glad I lived with Rich before we got engaged and before we got married, and it made the whole transition a lot different. When we got married, it didn't even feel like much had changed really. I think having a home together, having bills together is a big commitment, so it gets you ready for marriage in a way. Okay, I need to go get ready for this call. I will come back and answer the rest of the questions. We've got some questions coming up about like foggy mornings and brand trips and moving house. I'll be back. Okay, I'm off my call, ready to answer some more questions whilst eating these delicious sriracha flavoured peas, chili garlic flavoured green peas. Oh my God. So good. The lighting is so warm in here. I'm just hoping at this point none of you are watching the video, you're just listening. Let's pretend it's a podcast. What's your favourite part of making Foggy Mornings? I get so stressed on the lead up to filming an episode, and it's just because I care a lot and I get nervous and there's a lot of planning that goes into it. But what I love about Foggy Mornings is that it kind of gets me out of the house. It takes me out of my environment and I'm with someone else, with a couple of people creating something. And that is just something that I really love. So that's my favorite thing about it. I like just doing something different. It can get a little bit samey when you've been doing this job for a while. And even when you guys see kind of the reels that are like a bit more creative, the process is still quite samey. So just doing something totally different is really enjoyable. And just like meeting people and seeing their homes, and on a personal level, I just find that really interesting. And putting out something creative and seeing your feedback, I really enjoy kind of those parts of the process. If you could get anyone on Foggy Mornings, who would it be? Think big, you never know. First person that comes to mind is Stacey Solomon. I just think she's great. I would love to go to her house. I think she really fits the Foggy Mornings brand well. I would be nervous about like, you know, some people will kind of book out the whole day. Some people are like have only a few hours of time to spare. So I feel like that would stress me out. Like, how much time can I take from her? But Stacey Solomon would be the perfect Foggy Mornings guest. I think she follows me on Instagram, so let's see, guys. I've never even met her, so we're not there yet. Has anyone ever rejected Foggy Mornings or a brand deal that you were excited for, and how did you handle it? Only one person so far, and it's just because they're so busy, which totally makes sense. They're like, not this year, but maybe next year. But I haven't approached that many people about it yet. And most of them have been like friends of mine, really. So no, not yet. But I am always aware that I'm like taking up a lot of their time. And I don't know, I'm just very grateful for anyone who says yes. Has anyone ever rejected a brand deal that you were excited for? I'm very lucky that I'm in the position that I don't tend to pitch myself to brands. I have enough work coming in that it's up to me whether I say yes or no to jobs. But I have had it before. I've worked with brands and then they haven't come back to work with me again. And sometimes it's just a case of they've worked with me enough times and they've reached their potential audience, and that's fine. And then sometimes maybe they didn't enjoy working with me. And I try to not take things too personally. It's a work in progress for me. I care a lot about everything. I'm not always going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. Someone asked, what is the cost or benefit for you of going on brand trips? I don't really go on many anymore. They're not as much a thing anymore than they used to be, but also can't always go. Like, there's certain days of the week where I am doing drop off, I am doing pickup, Rich is in the office, and then normally the trips are normally around that day, and it's just really tricky. But if on the odd occasion I can go on a brand trip, I weigh out whether it's something I want to say yes to or not based on, so an invite will come in. First thing I'll think is this a brand I like? Is it a product I like? Is it a brand I want to either maintain a relationship with or build a relationship with? Like, I have to think what's in it for me, and it can't just be because it's a nice hotel. Is it a brand I like? Is it with a group of people that I want to spend time with? Because this is also like not just a work day. If you're staying the night, it kind of eats into time I could be spending with my friends or family. The brand know that they're going to get coverage because I'm probably going to be vlogging or posting on Instagram. I have to think, am I going to get something out of it as much as they are? Can I make other content while I'm there that you guys are going to enjoy? There's just like a few tick boxes that I think about, and if they tick all the boxes, then I will go, and I'm so grateful that I get to go on these things. But with anything, it's like a perk of the job that looks a lot more exciting to other people on the outside than it is on the inside. But sometimes if all the boxes are ticked, it can be amazing. But I have to make sure it's worth my time. I have quite a short working week anyway, so it can't take away from other things. Like, working on jobs has to take a priority over a press trip because I'm not getting paid to be there. If funding, time, and childcare were no issue, what would your dream brand collab be? I think I've said before that I try not to have dream brand collabs because I have in the past had oh my God, my dream brand to work with would be like whatever, and then I've come to work with them and it's been a bit of a disaster, and then it just feels like it's ruined the idea in my head. But let me think, who would actually be like a dreamy brand that I would love to work with? I just really like the idea of doing like proper collaborations, and I never really do those. So I'm not talking like creating a reel for a brand or a YouTube integration, but like, you know how Emily English had her whole kind of collection with Stripe and Stare? I would love to do that. I love the idea of like creating collections that you guys can buy, because I don't have my own brand and I have no plans to have my own brand. And that feels like somewhere in between where I get to like kind of pretend I have my own brand or like work on a collection of some sort. Like, that would be really dreamy for me. And I have loads of brands that I love, like Stripe and Stare, like Uniqlo, like what other brands do you guys think? Imagine if I had like a mug collection in Dunelm or like anything like that. Really excites me. They don't come in often. I'm going to take these off. I feel like the reflection is going to be annoying for you guys. And now I can't see. Let my eyes adjust. Any sort of collection like that would be so fun to do. Like a homeware edit of some kind. I feel like jobs like that tend to come in more for like the experts, whether it's like a stylist or an interior designer or a facialist. Brands quite like to collaborate with experts, and I'm not technically an expert in anything, but I would absolutely love to do something like that. Oh my God, like imagine, you know how Condiments Claire had her own matcha at Genki, like something like that. I love it. And also, like, it's nice for my friends and family to see something like tangible, because like I've said in previous videos, it's the mainstream stuff. It's when you're in a magazine, it's when you're on a billboard, it's when you're in a shop that people are like, oh, I see now, you have a proper job. Would you ever create a London guide of your favorite cafes, shops and restaurants? I did once have like a Google map or something like that. I get so imposter syndrome-y with my London content. Like, I'll create London content, like I did my walks, and I love them. And then other people start doing them, and I get very like, I feel like I only really know like North, Central, East London. I don't know like South London at all. And I feel like I just don't know everything about London. I always feel like, is the stuff I do know even that interesting? I get very like, other people know more than me, or they have more time to research than me. There's like the few things I really know well, and I share those. And then, I don't know, I just feel like there's so many gaps in my knowledge. But that's just me, like, not feeling confident enough that no one, everyone feels that way. I see people making London content who aren't even from London. So if they don't feel that way, why should I feel that way? I don't know. I think it's also because I just don't go to like restaurants and stuff as often as I used to before kids. Like, I love Top Chore, and Top Chore will absolutely never have me on their socials. But say, for example, they asked me to be on their like, what's your favorite restaurant thing? I would be so nervous because I just don't think I have any sort of like cool, new, interesting answer, because I just don't have the time to go to places all the time. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not like as in the know as I should be for someone who would make a London guide. God, my life coach would have a field day over me, like putting myself down like this. Okay, final question. Was that enough? Have we covered enough questions? I never really know. If you feel like I could have done more, I could do another video like this soon. If you moved house, would you vlog a renovation project? There was a time where I kind of regretted vlogging the renovation, but now we've kind of gone through that. I feel like I probably would again. I think I would just do it differently. I think I literally vlogged the entire process last time, whereas I feel like I'd probably do it in more of a chill way. But yeah, probably, because it's interesting. Everyone loves watching like a renovation vlog. I just don't think we would ever renovate like we did like this place again, because we'd probably have to be living in it, and we'll have kids, and I'm hoping that we find somewhere where it's more just decorating and not like proper extensions or anything like that. But I would definitely share the process. I think I'm getting a bit more confident with home interiors. I still find it quite hard to make certain decisions, but definitely better at it than I was when we did this place. I think those are all the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A. Sorry if I didn't answer your question. Like I said, there were so many. I think next time I'm going to try and collect the questions as they come in, rather than like look at all 238 comments or something. But I hope you guys found this interesting. I hope you got all your laundry folded and did all your washing up and did your makeup or whatever whilst you were listening to this. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video.